Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I think today is the day when we're going to talk about the multi-billionaire community, let's call it this way, market of the spiritual community, and why, in my opinion, you should consider becoming a spiritual minimalist. What does it even mean? Let's get started. Okay, you guys, let's explain it like this. From 2012, but honestly, spirituality is being out and about, in and out in many eras. I mean, in the 60s and in the 70s with the hippie generation, surely spirituality was having a boom. Then it kind of faded during the Pisces era. And right now, at the door of what many people call the age of Aquarius, we're finally seeing a rise of spiritual content that started from 2012 and now is on its, I feel, highest peak probably. We're talking about a multi-billionaire market, especially when it comes down to the items that are sold on the internet through healing crystals, Reiki, tarot reading, tarot readers such as myself, and everybody trying to make content about the law of attraction and so much more. We need to really ask ourselves, are we really being spiritual, or this is just another trend that really looks like pretty much what in the year 2000 with the initial vloggers, can you say that? Vloggers on YouTube makeup was. I mean, if you saw a gradual shift of the focus before, like especially girls and females were all into makeup and makeup tutorial, and a lot of brands were starting to pop everywhere around, and drastically now it's just fading and fading even more, and so many of these brands are actually failing, or they're not even selling their products anymore, and we're going to a more, you know, plain, even though it is $1 trillion, I think, industry, the makeup community at large, but the focus has shifted towards spirituality a lot more. But the thing is that as for every trend, it's not bad in and of itself. Of course, if more people want to awake and be spiritual, they're more than welcome to do that. But the problem with that, in my opinion, is that we are losing ourselves in the market. Some of us are, and in the shallow content that we are provided with, because when something becomes a trend, it's just what it is. You know, many people parrot the same things, they want to become more famous, they copycat each other, and you know, the content that you're creating, whatever content it is, might get diluted because of these reasons. And obviously companies out there are going to study the trends of the people in order to sell even more products. But for instance, I just not specifically, but let's say I just want to mention this entire idea of crystals and the healing of crystals in and of itself. There is this entire idea that I felt pressured into as well as a tarot reader in my other channel, Nega Visions, that you must collect so many crystals, otherwise you're not spiritual. You must put in all your pick cards so many crystals, because otherwise you get insulted, and I just mean it, like you get angry people in the comment section telling you, I cannot choose if you don't put crystals, or you're always putting the same crystals. But hear me out. As a witch and as a spiritual person, I've always been into esotericism and spirituality since a young age. I always have collected, I never actually collected crystals, let's be honest, I never did. I randomly find them, like sometimes when I used to go out in the woods near mines, I used to find some of the quartz, or just, you know, in rare occasion, I used to have like an amethyst because it's my favorite stone, and that was about it. I've never been a collector, neither of tarot too much in and of itself, neither of crystals in and of itself. I never felt the need to clutter my environment with items so I could feel more spiritual. And this is not because I'm better than anyone else, this is how I felt back then. But by the time that this trend of spirituality grew, and by the time that I was a content creator on YouTube, like I mentioned before, I felt pressured to have a little bit more crystals, because every girl or every guy on YouTube were showing, even in the pick discard so many crystals and the healing properties of aquamarine and the healing properties of amethyst and the healing properties of, I don't even know all the crystals in the world because I don't feel that that is my specialties. And so there's entire pressure that you have to sage yourself. You have to have sage. You have to have candles for manifestation. You have to have crystals. You have to dress in a certain way. You have to talk in a certain way. And this just clutters your brain up and puts you, in my opinion, put us further away from the aim of spirituality and spiritualism in and of itself. Now, when it comes down to crystals, for instance, that is a multi-billionaire industry altogether, okay? The healing properties of crystals, the majority of crystals that are sold out there are just glass. They're not even crystals in and of itself. And the way they're getting instructed is from countries that have a poor policy, we could call it this way, when it comes down to the work of people. There are even kids extracting this crystal so they can lay down on your table and you can heal with those properties. Yes, crystals do come from the earth. Yes, crystals do have energy, but you do not need to collect all these crystals to feel spiritual. You do not need to sage yourself all the time in order to clean your space. You do not need to collect multiple oracle decks. You can create an oracle deck for free on your own. And you do not need to meditate on a day-to-day basis if you don't know what you're doing. You might even end up improperly doing yoga and meditation if you're not properly guided, either by yourself or by the books that you're studying. And it's pointless for you to watch endless content about spirituality if the people that you are listening to are not quoting or crediting books or ancient history, or perhaps they're just parroting things here and there that they don't really have a genuine experience of. So all of these things mixed together, without getting in too much depth of the crystals or the spiritual gurus and the content creators and all of that jazz, is I want to make you reflect, guys, on the fact that you can become a spiritual minimalist. And by becoming a spiritual minimalist, which I don't even think is a trend at all, but I'm just making it up right now for this video, you can contribute to the environment a lot more, you can heal a lot more, you can be a lot more cultured, and you can just become free from the abuse and behavior manipulation of the market at large. Because this is what it is. When something is on trend, they want to sell you even more than that, because they are going to manipulate you even through the algorithms of social media into the fact that you're not worthy enough, or you need those items in order to feed your fantasy self, which is becoming spiritual at the moment. And I mean, this is something that works. Why does it work? Because it's not that you're stupid. You're not at all. It's just that we as human beings are wired in a way where if you go, let's say, in a room with your friends and all of your friends, including you, is looking at the sky, most likely other people will start looking at the sky as well. And this is because this is a survival mechanism of human beings, is to be attuned with our surrounding as well as what other people are doing. So the market obviously knows this, and by analyzing trends and manipulating even the behaviors of people through this algorithm, it's going to make you feel that if everybody does it, well, obviously there is going to be a reason for that, and you need to try it. Otherwise, you're not being spiritual enough, cool enough, or just filling the blank, depending on the era. But this is absolutely not true, especially when it comes down to spirituality. Now, what it is meditation again? What is being spiritual? I want to talk about meditation for a second, because there are improper ways to do meditation and yoga that can even cause like mental harm, because meditation has the aim to make you feel present, to make you observe your thought and recognize your awareness behind the body and the mind. But let's say, for instance, that if you follow some of these people that might not have a deep experience of yoga or a deep knowledge of yoga and meditation, you follow them blindly into this meditative state, you might end up even going insane, because meditation done improperly might lead to fantasy, imagination, or imagining to talk with people that are not even there, or they're just in your mind. See, hear me out on this one. The mind is a powerful tool and can be directed in so many ways that are even personal, but it's not because the mind is a powerful tool and you are interpreting everything intellectually that you're meditating correctly. Meditating correctly is actually going beyond the mind and becoming the observer from a larger point of your experience. And that's why it should be taught by experts or people that have experienced this awareness behind the mind, the body and the mind. And like I said in my video, 5 alternatives to meditation, you do not even have to do meditation every day if that doesn't suit you. There are other ways to feel awareness and presence, and I highly suggest you to watch that video. But the way spiritual content is made today, it's like, you know, not a photocopy. How can you say? It's like they're scripting things. They're all the same. Like, you have to open your chakras. You have to know what chakras are. And maybe they don't even know that chakras in Sanskrit means wheels, therefore vortexes. And it's just like they detach, the majority of these content creators in spiritual community, that they attach themselves from the tradition of where this knowledge comes from, and they just made up something new, which is very much also how the new age was born. But this can be very detrimental to the mental health of people, because not only it gets shallow to trends, but like I said, you can improperly meditate. You can buy so many tons of crystals and feeling that you're doing the right thing and not even being conscious of the fact that a kid might have extracted that crystal for you, and that crystal was extracted in very unethical way from the environment. Now, I'm not saying that every crystal is extracted in an unethical way, but why these companies or people that are selling crystals, they don't always tell you where they come from. That's another red flag that you should pay attention to. And even the entire concept of saging yourself, like you need an item in order to clear your energy or to heal, that's so false, and it's absolutely not true. Not even mentioning that by overly consuming these products, you kind of lose sight of the true goal of spirituality, which is to become unattached from this physical realm, to respect the illusion and to develop your empathy in a way where you understand that this is an illusion, but at the same time you have a higher connection to God that is personal, of course, and you can see God in everything you look and also in other people. But how can that happen when there is so much pressure to be in a certain way and to not having, therefore, a personal experience? I felt in these 3 years of YouTube sometimes pressurized because I do not follow astrology that much. I don't necessarily believe that much in the lion portals and all these things. And I do not collect a lot of crystals, and I talk in a completely different way for the majority of the people. And I do believe in the law of attraction, but at the same time I know that the law of attraction is just a portion of the 7 hermetic principles, and there is so much more to energy than just that. And you know, if you are feeling this way, if you are feeling I want to be spiritual, but this is becoming like, I don't know, like I have to be something that I'm not, well, I highly suggest you right now to take on the train of becoming a spiritual minimalist. If you don't feel connected to crystals, don't buy just because people tell you to buy them. Just go to a shop and make sure that you know where these crystals are extracted from, and just take one and have a relationship just with that one crystals that you love so much, and really develop a relationship, an energetic relationship with that crystals. You do not need tons of crystals, and you don't need any if you don't like them at all, and you want to make more responsible choices. If you feel that you want to clear your energy, don't listen to what all the other people are saying. You do not always need sage. You might just need breath techniques. And every time that you're listening to content, become a minimalist even in there. Don't listen to 20 videos around the same thing. Just try to discern and choose the content creators that you feel are honest and you like, and then go and do your own personal research from history, from books, from Hinduism, from the ancient religions of humanity, so you can make informative decision, and you know that you will be properly guided when you are doing your spiritual journey. And also you can develop your own spiritual path and tailor-made it to your own needs without feeling the pressure of the masses just because everybody is doing that sort of meditation or everybody is talking in the same way. That doesn't mean that that has to be your experience. And hear me out on this one. I love rock music. I love metal music. And I don't care what people say in the spiritual community that it's bad and it's toxic. I'm still gonna be myself. You know, I'm still gonna like what I like. I think in this day and age, and I see this all like everywhere in my real life and when I used to be on social media, it's like everybody wants to do things to be seen. Everybody wants to have a voice without having a voice first. You know what I'm saying? Without having something to say that is so deep and that might even benefit other people. It's like sheeps. I'm sorry, I know it's a bad comparison, but it's like masses of sheep with cell phones and they just want to be seen. They just want to parrot what other people are saying, but they might end up doing things improperly. And that doesn't mean being spiritual. I see people that they don't do meditation. They have quit social media. They don't sage themselves. They dress up with a plain white t-shirt and just like normal, but they are so careful about the environment. They are mindful in their experience. They are aware and present. They are much more spiritual than many of the spiritual content. And they just don't blindly believe something because someone says it online. I mean, I don't believe in these bloody portals that everybody talks about. Nothing ever happens to me when this bloody lion portals happens or astrology things happen. I just don't believe it because I don't have it in my experience. You know what I'm saying? So I am a healthy skeptic in this way. I believe in what it is, my experience, and I believe in teaching people psychic abilities in a way that makes them grounded, that improves their life and not necessarily makes them delusional. Do you know what is my dream for the future? Is that we stop having communities in the sense, we stop having markets and industry, the spiritual industry, the makeup industry, but we actually all become spiritual beings because indeed we are, and we recognize this in our own beautiful individuality, in the respect of the different individualities outside of us, and we just build a better world. That's what spirituality should be about. Spirituality shouldn't be about everybody talks in the same way, everybody is positive thinking, everybody has crystals, everybody has sages, everybody reads the same book. Spirituality is about you are a spiritual being. You are unique, you're creative, you're different. And let's just make our differences all together and create a better world. That's what I wish to see. I wish people to care less about what the market says, care less about every single methods for manifesting, every single methods for healing abilities, and just starts to heal for real. It starts from, yes, individual healing, but it also starts from society needs to heal. Society needs to heal, and I'm gonna say it, I'm just gonna say it a little bit. Society needs to heal from capitalism. It's just what it is. Capitalism is not that bad in and of itself, in the sense that it's good to have a free market, otherwise there will be only like one thing and they will take advantage of only selling one thing at that particular price. So the free market is fine, but we need to get out of this mindset that we are taking and taking and taking from everything because we crave more and we're looking for God all in the wrong places. Spirituality, if it is really spiritual, needs to teach to become calm, to become more the observers, to take care of the environment, to say, well, you know, you're saying this, but my experience is this. Let's confront each other. To say, well, I might want all this tarot or all these crystals, but do I really need it? Maybe not. Let me take only one. To become mindful and more respectful with each other. So, end of this video, really, become less. In this day and age, create less in the sense, become less. Or like Bruce Lee used to say, become like water, my friend. Be water, my friend. And you are water because you are made for the majority of your body by water. And the reason why, in my opinion, he used to say, be like water, my friend, because water doesn't control, Aki is going bonkers. Water doesn't control experience. It just it just flows, it transforms and moves without control. And the soul spirit does. Aki, can I finish my video? Thank you. I highly appreciate your support in me making this video. So like I was saying, water doesn't control, it just flows. And one of the most beautiful things about human being is our capacity to be able to transform. So, I don't know, for once, let's transform for the better. That's all I'm saying. So try to embrace today spiritual minimalism. You do not need to be brainwashed by these industries. You are more than enough, and you can be absolutely spiritual without changing anything about your looks unless you want to, and by being mindful about what you're buying and the reason why you're buying and where are you buying from, especially when it comes down to crystals and other spiritual items, which are only going to at the very least enhance your experience, but they are not a necessity. And never for once be scared about the way you speak. Always be respectful to others, but never be ashamed for your own authenticity and for your own unique way of speaking. You do not need to parrot anyone else's content. I love you guys, and I hope you appreciate my randomness in this video and making up the fact, this word, I guess, of spiritual minimalism, and why I embrace this behavior, I guess, and why I think it will be very beneficial. I want to make the next video about why meditation can be dangerous and why meditation can be done improperly. If you want to see it, comment down below, and also comment down below your experience about spiritual minimalism. Have you ever felt pressured by the internet or this industry to be different than the way you are? And have you ever felt, oh, spirituality is not for me because you weren't fitting the mass talk about spirituality? Please let me know your experience, because I want this place to be respectful but also very interesting for me and for you guys, so we can learn things from each other. And I see you guys very soon in another of my videos here on A Radio Alchemy.